So I'm going to explain how this movie was made. They were playing GTA one day, and they're like, you know what? GTA needs to become a movie, but we can never do video game movies right. So let's just take the world of GTA, get every other game in the world, throw it in here. Oh, movie references? Throw them in here, and we'll just add that guy, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, let's get him as starring in this movie. Now you have this movie. Free Guy stars Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer and is about a bank teller discovers that he's actually an NPC inside of a brutal open world video game. Now, walking into this movie, it was one of those movies that I knew that Disney bought 20th Century Fox, now it's 20th Century Studios, so it was one of those movies that kind of just got left behind, and obviously the pandemic and the movie got delayed, and then I finally was like, is this movie coming out or is it going to streaming? What's going on with this movie? And it was coming out of the theater, so I was like, okay, that's a really good sign. Hopefully it's good. I walked into the movie tonight kind of like, hopefully it's good because they stuck to their grounds, and my golly, this movie was a total blast from beginning to end. For an hour and 55-minute movie, I was pretty much smiling the entire movie. Now, straight off the bat, if you do not like Ryan Reynolds, or just basically him playing Ryan Reynolds, you're not gonna like this movie, probably. For me, I love me some Ryan Reynolds, and so I loved him as Guy, which basically is an NCP, which is, he's basically just a bot. That's what he is. He's a bot in Grand Theft Auto City. He walks around the city and just has a banker job. He's smiling. He's got his own little skills. And then one day, he turns it on and he's like, hey, something's up. I'm in a different world, and then he's exploring the world, and he's leveling up, and a lot of stuff crazy happens, which leads to the whole world ending / the game. My huge positive has to be Shawn Levy, who directed this movie, who actually did a lot of movies I kind of like. He did the Night Museum trilogy, he did Cheap Riders 1 and 2, he also did like Date Night and stuff like that, but he did do a lot of episodes of Stranger Things. So Shawn Levy, he's one of those guys, he just seems like a really cool director. He's made some really just enjoyable movies, and this movie adds on to that list. Like I said, this movie's a ton of fun. The colors, the action, the entertainment, and my gosh, I was laughing the entire time in this movie. Ryan Reynolds, like I said, is Ryan Reynolds. Again, I love Ryan Reynolds, so I was in for it. All of his jokes, it's Ryan Reynolds. And again, I like Ryan Reynolds. And if you hate me for that, I'm really sorry. But like I said, the movie is just big CGI, video game logic kind of stuff. And this movie's gonna age probably not the best. I could say in 10 years, a lot of people was like, wow, this movie was good for its time. We've moved on now. Because this movie does rely on like people who've played video games. Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. And the movie does rely on movie references, which sometimes can be too much on the nose. There's a lot of stuff towards the end. I'm like, alright, so obviously Disney just said, hey, we own these copyright claims, let's just go ahead and throw it in this movie. But I do have some gripes of the movie, and my biggest thing is something that is honestly the thing I hate about movies sometimes. When you review a movie, you watch a movie, you're like, man, that was really bad. Well, you can say that, things are bad in a movie, but it's worse to me when things are cringy, and there is a few good scenes in this movie that are pretty cringy, a little too much, like, and my biggest thing is Taika Waititi. Listen, I love Taika. He is a great writer, he's a great director, and he's a very comedic, funny actor. He was cringy in this movie. I'm sorry, there's no beating around the bush. I wanted to like him so bad, but he wasn't helping his case. So this entire movie, he is just cringy 2021 dialogue. And like I said, in 10 years from now, it's really not going to hold up, and his character is going to be so like, man, did people really talk like that back then? And it's not completely true, but it's kind of true. And like I said, there's stuff in this movie that make references to media today and make jokes and stuff like that, but it's not going to age well. And in the moment, I chuckled, I laughed, but if you think about it, the movie is really good for its time being. Overall, I think this movie is going to be maybe a little diversive. I think people are either going to really hate this movie. I think a lot of older people are not gonna dig this movie, but for a 21-year-old, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a total blast. I had a smile through the entire movie. Like I said, the worst criticism I can give it is there are some cringy scenes that are very much like, man, it's just like, it's really cringy, but some of the music choices were pretty good. Some of them were too much on the dot. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that you could really pick at this movie, and it could end up being bad. But overall, I had just a total blast. And that's why I'm gonna give Free Guy a B+. For all the stuff I just said, honestly, deep down, I feel like this movie is gonna age poorly. But again, right now, I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to buy it on 4K. I might go see it again in an IMAX theater. All I can say is, if you like Ryan Reynolds, definitely go watch it. And if you like video games and just media of movies and all that kind of stuff, go watch. This movie's got a ton of cameos and tons of references that a lot of people are really gonna like. Anyway, guys, you guys enjoyed this movie review, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.